Hey loves, how are you doing? I'm in my house filming this because we are currently experiencing quite an intense heat wave in the UK. So here we are. I wanted to reflect on the fact that you can feel deeply without feeling overwhelmed. I work with a lot of people, and I experience this myself, sensitive people, people who feel their emotions very, very deeply and don't know how to manage them, don't know what to do with them. And many of us were taught to soothe, which is great. Of course, we were taught not to cry, don't get upset, don't get angry, it'll be okay, kind of like pacified, I guess. And many of us were never taught how to be with difficult emotions, how to actually allow them to be present and that they're actually okay. And then it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to cry. So when fear and sadness and uncertainty and overwhelm, any emotion, any feeling arises, we often swing between trying to control everything or avoiding what we're feeling altogether. So we try to manage everything, we try to control the situation, or we just kind of shut down and distract ourselves and stay busy and scrolling on our phones and binge watching things, and we all do it. And I think we're not shaming those things. We're not saying that they are bad, inherently bad. It's just if you are doing that a lot and it's causing issues in your life, in other areas of your life. So if you are continuously distracting yourself, if you are continuously ignoring what you're actually feeling, if you are scrolling on your phone a lot and it's maybe causing you to feel even more anxious, or it's giving you headaches, you're not sleeping, you're waking up in the middle of the night worrying about things. And when we are on our phones at night or early in the morning, it can interrupt and disrupt our melatonin and our circadian rhythm, our natural sleep-wake cycle. So it's really helpful and important to not look at screens in the evening, not look at your phone, and not first thing in the morning, but to actually get natural light in the morning and to let your body wind down as it needs to in the evening. Coming back to, we either swing between trying to control everything or avoiding what we're feeling altogether. And there might be other things that you do around those two, but those are just two kind of main examples. But there is another way. So when your nervous system is resourced, when you have access to stability through your nervous system, you can actually recognize what you're feeling without being consumed by it. So we can learn to actually acknowledge the feeling. So usually there is a sensation, a feeling that comes up in our body, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, and we want to get rid of it. We don't want to feel that way. Why would we want to feel worried about things? Why would we want to feel scared? Why would we want to feel anxious? Even feeling anger can be really intense and overwhelming for some people. We want to be able to feel these without either merging into it merging into the feeling, and then that's when we maybe explode or melt down, or we can't manage how we're feeling. And not in a control way. When I say manage, I don't mean controlling ourselves and controlling our bodies or regulating our bodies or trying to calm ourselves down. I just mean being able to be with what's happening, be with yourself and be with the sensations in your body. And you can stay connected to yourself. You can trust your body's wisdom, and you can meet life's challenges with greater compassion and presence. And it all comes back to feeling, having access to stability in your nervous system, not being calm all the time, not regulating your nervous system to the point of, I need to be calm. Because sometimes we don't need to be calm. Sometimes we need to be angry. Sometimes we need to be sad. We need to let the emotion and the feeling and the movement and the gestures and the expression, we need to let it move through us so that it can complete its cycle. If we stop it, if we shut it down, if we push it down, repress it, hold it back, it's like bubbling under the surface. It's like it's still there. It hasn't been allowed to complete its cycle. So it's still going to play out in some other way. We can feel it as tension. We can feel it as a type of a behavior, wanting to control everything. You might see it as a perfectionist, just trying to manage everything and not make mistakes and not fail. You might feel like you're not good enough. It might even be, kind of a fawning of meeting everybody else's needs and not your own. Your needs don't matter. Your emotions don't matter. Let's manage everybody else's. So this isn't about becoming calm all the time. Of course, there are times when we do need to do that, depending on the situation and what where we are, what's going on. We might need to actually soothe ourselves so that we can continue on with the task at hand, if we're at work, for example. But actually allowing ourselves time, even if you are at work and something happens and you get angry or you get upset, even then there is a possibility that you can take yourself away for a moment, let the feeling flow through you, sense into it. What do I notice? And rather than shutting it down, you don't need to fix it, you don't need to do anything with it, but just giving it space to play out, to process. And maybe you make a fist, maybe you cry, maybe you have to make a sound. Not always possible, depending on where you work. But allowing yourself to recognize that it's okay to feel those things. And actually, it's not scary to feel those things. But it's all about building the capacity to feel and process and move through your emotions without losing yourself in them. And you might have heard of, you've got to feel it to heal it. If you are in the well-being space, or maybe you've heard you've got to feel it to heal it. And in some respects that is true. However, if you don't have the capacity to feel it, it's going to backfire. because it's not safe enough to actually feel it and to let it process. So we have to take it slow. We have to build up to it, holding space. It's an oscillation. It's like feeling into the difficult emotion and then coming back to safety, a source of support, something that's grounding, something that's external to you. Coming back to that feeling and then coming back to something that feels okay to notice. So we're not just going right in, oh, I'm just going to go right into that feeling and I'm just going to sit there, because that's a lot. That will be overwhelming potentially, depending on your nervous system capacity and your experiences. So we want to kind of build it up, train ourselves to get used to it. And we can do that with someone. We can do that with a somatic coach. You could do that in therapy. This is what I do with my clients. And this is one of the things that we explore in Embody Your Joy, which is my 10-week group somatic coaching and creativity program. And we look at difficult emotions and holding space for difficult emotions, because a lot of the time this can impact, if we're stopping ourselves from allowing emotions to flow through us. We might even be, even if it's sadness, anger, we might even be stopping joy, access to joy and pleasure. They can kind of, or excitement, because that can feel, it's similar to nervousness and anxiety. They can feel very similar. Within the program, we are looking at holding space for those difficult emotions alongside, because it's so important for us to be able to embody joy, to actually know how to hold space for that. We can use joy as a resourcing tool, as a source of support, as that thing that helps us with the difficult emotions, the things that we find challenging. So I'm going to pop some details below. Embody Your Joy starts again in autumn 2026. We kick off in October. And if you would like to find out more details, you can drop a comment below. You can just reach out to me. I'm going to pop all the details below. And yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on this topic today. Let me know how this landed for you, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.